Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And this video, what we're going to be doing is carrying out a replacement of the front shocks on the BMW 1 Series. This is the E82 model, it's the coupe. I've not done any videos with this car yet, however, so this will be the first. What I'm going to be fitting is Bilstein shock absorbers to replace the tired originals. The original ones that fit to the car now are pretty bad. You can hear them knocking quite badly over bumps, and there's clearly evidence of oil leaking out of them. So they're long overdue. So let's get the car up in the air, get the wheel off and crack on. So here's the original shock, and as you can see, it's clearly got a leak. So that shock's not really doing anything. It's not really doing its job. Spring's fine. All the other parts of the assembly are okay. The top mount looks fine. Spring's fine. It's just the shock absorber itself that needs replacing. So let's get some tools out, start stripping it off. Okay then, so to remove the shock absorber from the car, what we need to do is undo the drop link, the top mount for the drop link. This bracket is also behind the same nut. We need to remove the cables for the wear sensor and the ABS sensor. And then it's simply a case of undoing the bottom bolt where it actually bolts to the hub carrier. And then we'll go under the bonnet and take the 3 bolts out at the top. It really is that easy. Nothing too taxing. So let's crack on with it. What we'll probably find is that things like the anti-roll bar drop link will want to twist when we're trying to undo the nut, but we will have to hold it still with a spanner. But yeah, nothing too major. So let's get on with it. Start by popping off the cables off the bracket. Okay, 17mm spanner on the back. There we go. That's that bracket off. That's the drop link out of the way. That's just give it a good check of its condition. Make sure it's yeah, looks good. Obviously that's got covered in oil from the shock absorber as well. But yeah, nothing too dramatic. Okay. Next is the lower bolt which holds the shock into the hub carrier. Now that is an 18mm nut. And the bolt head is 18mm as well. So what we'll do, I'm going to crack it off using a breaker bar, and then we should be able to get a ratchet on it. Move the cable out of the way. There we go. There we go, that's that bracket off. And now the bolt comes out. A little bit of corrosion in there, just stopping it coming out evenly. So what I'll do, give it a good clean up before I try and put it back together again. Make sure we retain the washer. And there's the nut. We'll be needing them again later. And there's the nut for the drop link. Right, now then, what we need to do next is remove the shock from the lower leg, and also remove the 3 nuts from the top underneath the bonnet. Okay, up here. Right then, what we need to do at the top is simply undo the 3 nuts. These 2 are easily accessed with a ratchet. Just like so. Quick and simple. The 3rd one is underneath the strut bar, but you can get in there with a spanner. Okay, what's going to happen once I take this nut off is the whole assembly is going to want to drop down, because the only thing that's holding it up now will be the suspension arms. So you need to basically take the strain of the shock absorber with one hand underneath, and then we should be able to work the nut off by finger. And there we go. Next thing to do is to remove the shock from the hub carrier. Okay, so there's the shock absorber separated from the hub carrier. As you can see, you've got these 2 little dimples in the bottom of the shock. What they do is they sit in this gap, and it helps it keep it in the correct alignment. The bottom of this here will sit on the top of this, so you know how deep in it's supposed to be. As you can see, this is a genuine BMW shock absorber, and I'm fairly sure this has probably been on the car since new. So yeah, it's well past time for replacement. What I did do, just to make my life a little bit easier, is I disconnected the ABS sensor and the wear pad sensor, just to be able to pull them out of the way, because what I needed to do was I needed to use a pry bar in here. I used a little bit of WD-40, well, quite a bit of WD-40, and then I gave it a good whack on here with the plastic faced mallet. Took a bit of effort, but it came off eventually. The other thing I did was I released the clip this is for the headlamp auto adjustment. What I didn't want to do was put any extra strain on it, because this is only made of plastic, and believe it or not, these sensors are actually quite expensive for what they are. So I just released a clip that goes around the lower suspension arm, and then just moved it out of the way. So all I need to do now is take the last nut, which is loosely fitted on the top just here, take that off, pop that there, and then that is the shock absorber removed. Okay, so yeah, what we're going to reuse is most of this, because the top mount's fine. It's just the lid and the rubber. Hopefully the rubber underneath the spring pad is fine. The bump stop looks okay. I do have some brand new bump stops, which like a universal style bump stop, so I'll probably end up putting one of them on instead. But yeah, this shock absorber is definitely shot away. So what I'll do is I'll get the one off the other side, and then we'll look at stripping them apart. Okay, so I got the other shock absorber off the other side, and whilst the shock itself doesn't appear to be blown, it's not in the greatest of condition anyway. However, this has put a bit of a stopper on proceedings. So as you can see, the top mount is absolutely destroyed on this side. I don't have them at the moment, so I'm gonna get on the internet right now and order a couple up, and obviously I'll replace them as soon as they arrive. So let's put a stopper on it for today. Hopefully I should be able to get them by tomorrow, if I can get down into the local motor factors and pick them up. So we'll rejoin this once I've got my replacement top mount. Okay, so here we are. We've got the shock absorber. I nipped down to the local motor factors, picked up the top mounts that I needed to replace, and here it is. So as you can see, it's in a damn sight better condition than this. Right, that bit I will require, that bit I don't. Now, in order to remove the top mount, what we need to do is take the tension off the spring. And we're going to do that with the use of spring clamps. Now, all we need to do is fit these on. One on each side, just like so. On that side. And the other one that side. Right, now all I've got to do is tighten these up, which will pull these down, compressing the spring, and then the tension will be released from this. Then once that's done, what I'll be doing is removing the top cap, like so, and then I'll use my impact gun to wind that out, and then the top mount will come off, and then we can disassemble the whole thing from the shock absorber. Okay, give me a couple of minutes to wind these in, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've compressed the spring, so that's taken the tension off the top. So what I'm going to do now, using my impact gun, I'm going to buzz that nut off, and then we'll be able to pull it apart. Okay, so what I need to do, buzz it off. There we go. As easy as that. And as you can see, it's certainly seen better days. It's, in fact, I can't even turn that, so that was well beyond its service life, I reckon. So what we need off of here is the spring. I've got some new bump stops which are universal, so I'll reuse those, and I'll reuse the dust shield. The rubber boot from the bottom with the spring seat, and we'll reuse this as well, because obviously all that is just the top spring mount. And the new top mount will sit inside just like so. Okay, right then, let's get it rebuilt using the new Bilstein shock absorber. Right then, let's get it all reassembled using the new parts. Okay, so here's the shock absorber. They are handed, so make sure you get the right one. The drop link mount, for example, and the stop is on the other side, on the other side of the car. So right, bottom spring seat, get it in. There's like a little lug that pops through a hole, sits in there nice and neat. Okay, let's get the spring on. All right, as you can see, it's compressed as far as it's going to go. Yeah, there's still not a lot of room. These are the M Sport shocks, and they are 25 mil shorter than normal ones. Right, dust boot. These are some bump stops that I've got. They're universal, but they're made by Saks. They came off of something else, and I didn't throw them away. I kept them because I always keep things like that. They're slightly shorter, but they'll be fine for this job. Okay, what I had to do was I had to wind these in quite a bit more to be able to get the spring compressed enough to be able to get the new one on. So that's the nut on. Okay, then that's on. Make sure everything's seated right. Yep. Right then, what I'll do, I'll use the gun to get it down. And there we are, job's a good one. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll release the spring clamps, and then that is the fork, sorry, not the fork, the shock, fully rebuilt. So I'll come back in a minute once I've released the tension off of these, because it's going to take me a couple of minutes to get them undone. So there we are, one new top mount, and the shock all fully rebuilt. Only thing that's left to do is pop the top cap on, and now we can fit it to the car. Job's a good one. It took a bit of effort, but these springs do take quite a bit of compressing, because there's not a massive gap between the top mount and the bottom mount. So yeah, they take a fair bit of compressing in order to get them in place. But once they're in, it's all done up tight. So let's get it back on the car. Okay, we've got our rebuilt shock absorber. What we need to do is pop this plate on. You can't get it wrong because it'll only go on one way. And a little paper gasket. Right then, what we need to do is get it up in the tower. We've got to kind of manoeuvre it from two directions at the same time. This will only go in one orientation. Let's get it up in here. Get a couple of these nuts on. And then what we need to do is this. There we are. She's in. Those need to go in the slot at the back. Just like so. Give it a little rock. Alright then. What we need to do is use our pry bar just to what I'll do, I will turn the steering so it's this way and it gives me better access. What I want it to do is basically just drop in. I think what I may need to do is get the jack underneath and just give it a push up. Give it a helping hand with the jack. And there we are. It's in the right place. Now then, what I need to do is bolt everything back up. What I'll do first is get the long bolt in at the bottom, clamp in the shock absorber. Nice and tight. Okay, next thing is the anti-roll bar drop link, and there's the nut for it. There we go. And then pop the cable back in its little bracket, just there, like so. Open the cap, make the connection. Close the cover, and there we have it. And there we go. That is one shock absorber replaced. All I've got to do is the 3 nuts up top, and then the other side. The other side is identical in every way. The only difference being, of course, is the headlight aim adjustment sensor, which clips around the arm here on the other side. But I'll show that when I come and put it back together. Okay, as I said before, the only thing on this side that's different is this little level sender, and all it is goes around the arm and clicks together with this clip. It's a bit fiddly, but once it's on, it's on. Come on. It's a pain because it doesn't want to go together properly, so it's fighting me. Come on. Funny how it came apart really easily. But it doesn't want to go together really easily. What I'll do this off camera. Because it's quite fiddly in this position, trying to get the camera in view and do the job. So I'll turn the camera off, and then we'll call it a day. And there you go. As you can see, the second I turned the camera off, it fell together. So yeah, that's that all fixed back on. All I've got to do now, put the wheel on this side back on, lower the car back down at the ground, and job's a good one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like and a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment, and I'll see you all again soon for the next episode from Kev Shed. Thank you very much. Bye bye.